to 80 years ago, I took $114.75, every penny I'd saved, and I bought 3 shares of City Service Preferred.
With $129, Warren Buffett built his multi-billion-dollar empire. And guess what? A huge part of this wealth came from investing, meaning he pretty much never had to work for the money. So here's the big question. If Buffett could achieve so much with $100, then imagine what is possible with $1,000. If there is one thing that is at the core of every financial independence dream, it's passive income. Passive income is the dream life of making money while you sleep. One thing with passive income is that it's very exciting. You'd always want to make more money after earning your first dollar passively. And so, in this video, I'll show you different ways that you can start generating passive income right now with just $1,000. The methods I'll show you in this video will make your money work for you, so that you don't have to work for money. I'd be giving you practical ideas that are easy to do, so you don't have any excuse not to make money. You can apply them right now and begin your journey to passive income wealth. However, before we start, let's clarify one thing. Don't expect to start making millions from the start. What I'm about to show you isn't magic or a get-quick-rich scheme to double your money instantly. It's a practical guide. Take time to understand, apply, and expand on it to make even more money. Your $1,000 investment is just for starting. Once you're up and running, you can scale up from there and make as much money as possible. Without further ado, let's get down to business. Number 1, bonds. Now, we're not talking about James Bond here, but actual company bonds. A bond is a unique kind of investment. It's like giving a loan to a company or organization, which they pay back with interest. They set the terms and conditions, and you decide whether or not to take the offer. With bonds, there's a term called maturity date. This is the time duration of the loan you're giving, after which you'll be paid with interest. Bond maturity dates could range anywhere from a few months to several years, depending on the terms and conditions. One thing I like about bonds is the safety and stability it offers. No unnecessary fluctuations in earnings. In fact, you know exactly how much you're going to earn when the loan matures. Let's say you invest in a state or government bond. The chances of them not paying you are almost zero. Even billionaire investor Warren Buffett thinks it's a good idea to be on the side of the government. Here's one of his funny yet insightful quotes. "It's never paid to bet against America. We come through things, but it's not always a smooth ride. The truth is, government bonds are more secure than company bonds since companies can go bankrupt. However, company bonds pay out higher amounts than government bonds. So you see, it's pretty much all up to you. But as always, there's a way around this. You can go the smart way and invest in a bond index fund like Vanguard's VBTLX, which pays about 2.8% annually. Now I know you think the return on investment is too small. Well, don't forget it's very safe and stable investment. Plus, the value of the bond will most likely go up with time. I personally recommend adding bonds to your investment portfolio, at least for the stability it offers. If something goes wrong in the stock market, you could just liquidate your bond assets, sell them, buy bond stocks back at a lower price, and cash out when the market goes up again. That's one smart way you can cheat the system with bonds. Number 2, buy dividend stocks. Buying dividend stocks is one of the fastest ways to get your $1,000 working for you, even while you sleep. Basically, this entails buying a percentage ownership of the company. You can, for instance, buy Coca-Cola stocks, meaning you now own a very small portion of Coca-Cola for life. As an owner, you're entitled to profits from the business. Your earnings will depend on the amount of your dividend stocks, also called shares, that you buy. You just need to have faith in your investment. Like Warren Buffett would say, it's far better to buy a wonderful company at a fair price than a fair company at a wonderful price. Most companies pay out dividends to shareholders quarterly. Let's say, for instance, Coca-Cola gives you 2% quarterly for your $1,000. which equates to $20 every 4 months or $60 annually. Now, that doesn't seem like much, but remember, you're earning it for life, and there's no effort on your part. And besides, markets change, stocks rise. This is how most investors make their money. Investing in businesses while they're growing and then cashing out years or decades later when stock values have doubled or quadrupled. But here's the catch. If the stock price goes down, you lose money. And so, here's one of my favorite Warren Buffett tips to help you succeed in the stock market. A simple rule dictates my buying. Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. And here's another thing that you should know. Some companies would still pay you your appropriate dividend even when they're running at a loss. This is why you should do a bit of research before putting your money into any company.
Stocks, and I thought stocks were things that went up and down, and I charted them. I read books on technical analysis. I read Edwards and McGee. I think that was the classic then. Hundreds and hundreds of pages. And I read that whole thing over and over again. I read Garfield, Drew, I read everything.
There are numerous options out there, and only a handful of them have the best offers. But remember, whatever you gain from stock dividends won't be enough to get you a Lambo, at least not with $1,000. But it's a beautiful way to make money passively, and it can turn out fantastic when the stock prices rise. Before we move to the next method, I'd like to give you one final tip here. You see, when it comes to dividend stocks, your dividends are usually taxed as ordinary income. In other words, it's taxed at your normal tax rate, just like your regular income. Now, this can be a disadvantage, especially when you start making a lot of money from your dividend stocks. This is why I recommend that you do dividend stocks with a 401k. That way, you'll be able to reduce your tax billings to the lowest possible minimum. This is different from another well-known strategy of holding stock and selling it after a year to have it taxed as long-term gains. This taxing is also considerably less than taxes paid on regular income. You can use these strategies to avoid spending too much of your income on taxes. Having your hard-earned dividends sucked up by the feds can get very annoying later on when you start making substantial amounts from your investments. Number 3. Index funds. Index funds are another great way to create passive income wealth. An index fund is a collection of company stocks that you can buy into. So, you grab tiny pieces of everything. Think of it this way. Instead of owning just Apple or Coca-Cola stocks, you can own them both and a whole lot more. A single index fund could let you own up to 500 publicly traded company stocks on the stock market, and they usually go for the affordable cost of around $200. Now, you can tell that's quite an unbeatable deal, because getting your hands on so many companies would cost you a fortune if you were to go by the direct approach. But you see, here's the real advantage: diversification. Index funds allow you to invest your money more safely since it's scattered across different companies at a time.
If you are not a professional investor, if your goal is not to manage money in such a way as to get a significantly better return than the world, then I believe in extreme diversification. I mean, so I believe 98 or 99%, maybe more than 99% of people who invest should extensively diversify and not trade. So that leads them to an index fund type of decision.
Another good thing about index funds is that they tend to perform better than stocks picked individually for investments. So it's a win-win situation for you. Most index funds pay out dividends yearly, and stock prices also affect the percentage. As Warren Buffett says, remember, the stock market is a manic depressive. But still, if you invest $1,000 in a dividend-paying index that gives you 2% annually, that gives you $20 in passive income every year for doing nothing. In case you think that's too small, remember, you're investing in hundreds of stocks. There's no way that all of them would crash at the same time. In fact, if we're using past performance as a reference, you should expect at least a 6% increase in returns annually over the next 20 years. Overall, index funds are stable, diversified, cheap, and perform better than professional hedge funds. If you don't take my advice, then take Warren Buffett's. He highly recommends index funds, especially the S&P 500.
For a given individual, particularly my wife, I just think that having a tiny fraction, which is all it takes for her to do very well for the rest of her life, I think that the best thing to do is buy 90% in an S&P 500 index fund.
Number 4, invest in real estate investment trust. Now, I know you've heard about real estate investment countless times. It's one of the most popular investment strategies out there, especially among billionaires. But one type of real estate investment you probably haven't heard of is real estate investment trust, or REIT. Think of it this way. Instead of buying stocks of a company, you're buying stocks of a property. Basically, these trust firms gather cash from different investors and then purchase properties in various categories. They can acquire homes, medical buildings, restaurants, etc. From this acquired real estate, the firm pays out its profits to investors as dividends. This means that you can be a tiny owner of a massive real estate portfolio without going through the stress of managing anything yourself. It's pretty amazing, really. For instance, American Tower Corporation is one of the largest global REITs, investing in communication infrastructure. The company has over 200,000 sites with assets worth $70 billion. Their stock price is around $200. This is just one of the many options out there. And so if you wish to diversify, you can take advantage of index fund types of REITs. For instance, you have Robinhood, Webull, and Vanguard real estate index funds. One major downside of investing in REITs is that you can't get the same amount of profits and tax reductions you would have if you bought a property in your name. However, the fact that there is no entry barrier makes REITs worth it. With your $1,000, you too can become a real estate owner, earning at least $20 to $60 per year as passive income. Remember to use the strategy I mentioned earlier to minimize your tax bill. Now there you have it. These 4 simple passive investment methods can bring you returns on your $1,000 tomorrow. If you're going by these methods, I must give you Warren Buffett's 2 rules of investing. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. One habit that'll help you not lose money is to avoid making emotional decisions.
Well, we make bad investment decisions. Plenty of times I make more than Charlie because I like to think it's because I make more decisions, but probably my batting average is worse. But I can't recall any time in the history of Berkshire that we made an emotional decision.
However, if you're willing to put in some work, then these next methods I'm about to mention are just fantastic for you. Keep in mind that these passive income methods may require a bit of work to get them up and running, but I must say they're very profitable. Number 5 is affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing requires quite a bit of work initially, but it can be a real game changer. With affiliate marketing, you'll spend time marketing someone's product and earn commissions every time you sell such a product. One of the easiest affiliate marketing methods out there is Amazon affiliates, but there are other popular options like ClickBank and CJ affiliates. These programs have a huge catalog of products that you can promote and start making profits immediately. You may need to grow a fan base or audience to get the most of affiliate marketing and make it passive. You can do this by leveraging social media platforms or having your own blog. But either way, $1,000 is more than enough to get you started. Number 6, YouTube. YouTube is kind of like an active business. You have to put in the time to create videos, learn SEO, edit your videos, and publicize them. It's a lot of work. Plus, it must be continuous work because the algorithm rewards consistent creators. But here's the kicker. Once you get monetized, you can make so much more money that your $1,000 investment would seem like a cheap pie. $1,000 is more than enough to get the camera and every other thing you would need to kick things off right on a high note with YouTube. Everything else you need to learn to grow your channel, you can learn on YouTube. And that's it, you learn on the job. If you really dedicate yourself to it, there's no way you won't start making at least $100 passively every day within a year on YouTube. If you think this will be hard or take too long, you're wrong. Even creators who have started with nothing have been able to successfully build YouTube empires within a year, earning thousands of dollars each month. The trick is to be active, consistent, and improve quality. Just know the return on investment here is insane. You can live off the passive income once you have a huge backlog of videos on the platform. The truth is, our world is changing fast, and even billionaires like Charlie and Buffett have realized that value investing is slowly dying.
The value investors who are honorable are quitting. And what worked for them for years stopped working, and they're honorable people, they just quit.
So, these last passive income strategies will come in handy to ensure that you stay financially buoyant even when investments fail. However, all of these methods can be truly lucrative. Remember, whichever one you choose, consider your $1,000 as a small price to pay for a huge return in the future. Passive income is addicting. Just making your first dollar while sleeping will get you hyped up to earn even more, and the cycle continues.